think?
Could I do it?
You want to do it? Just make sure the guard don't fall off.
Go straight back?
Dang. All right. We're going to act like I didn't just already ask you what you're going to do.
Okay.
All right, so what are you going to do?
I'm gonna get a buzz.
A buzz?
Changing it.
Changing it? Chopping the mop?
All of it.
Off with it?
Mm-hmm.
For real?
Yeah.
You sure?
Yeah.
The whole thing?
All of it.
All right, good acting skills, bro. So 8, for sure, 8 guard?
Yeah.
All right, here we go.
Is there higher or no? And then we can go down from there or not? Just 8?
8 guard, if you want to go with the guard, 8 is the highest, or the scissors.
Let's just do 8 then.
8?
Okay.
Oh, you have a 10? Oh, Mars to the rescue. Oh, dang, I didn't even know that this existed. It's your lucky day.
You want to do 10? Or can we do 10 and
Yeah.
then go down from there?
For sure. Let's do it. Thank you, Mars. All right. So 10 guard and then see how you like it. What about the size? Same?
Maybe not a drop tape, maybe like a mid taper.
A mid taper?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. What made you want to chop it off, dude?
I just wanted to. I don't know. I've been wanting to.
You just decided to pull the trigger?
Yeah.
Let's chop it off. No going back. Ready?
Can I do it?
You want to do it? Just make sure the guard don't fall off.
Go straight back?
Mm-hmm. Don't go too fast, though.
I just wanted to do
Go ahead.
Oh, okay.
No, right here, look. Get under that, and then just go slowly straight back. Go. All right, Mars. Later, bro. Ride safe. Dang. It's out of there.
All right, so here we go. As you can see, we're having a little fun in this one. My guy decided he wanted to get rid of the curls. I was about to get him to connect, the curls to the sides. It was getting a little wild, but he decided that, he just wanted to get rid of them. So that's what we're doing. We're just getting it as even as possible right now, getting off as much as we can. But like you just heard, we're gonna go wash it. That way we could get it all flat and make sure everything is completely even. But we're gonna do a little bit of live action, a little bit of voiceover, as I usually do. If you haven't seen the videos yet, I am a beginner barber. I've only been doing this about 5 months, about 4.5, 4 at this point. So you'll see my whole process and how we do things.
Let's go wash it.
I can't shake my head anymore.
You can shake it, but ain't nothing gonna shake.
Nothing gonna do anything.
All right, your hair's looking a little more normal now.
Yeah.
All right, now we'll get the rest of it off. So you were telling me that you were talking to a girl now and she wanted you to cut it, right?
I never said that.
You never said that?
I'd be damned if I ever let that happen.
I could have swore that's what I thought I just heard you say.
Never said that.
We were over at the shampoo bowl, and you said, over at the shampoo bowl, bro, you just told me.
I didn't say anything. I wanted this on my own accord.
On your
No
own
one
accord?
told me, no one encouraged me.
All right. How you gonna comb it? You just gonna comb it down, or what are you gonna do with it?
Not sure yet.
You gonna wanna line it up in the front?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, if you're lining it up in the front, then you're probably gonna be doing it forward.
Yeah.
All right, so we got it all washed. We got it laying down flat, and we went ahead and got the rest of the hair with the 10. Now we're going in on the sides. And what I like to do on the sides, well, actually, let me start by saying that my process was a little flipped around. Not flipped around, but I didn't go exactly with my process in this one, just because I think my magic clip wasn't fully charged. So I had it charging at this point. I'm thinking that's what happened, but there was a few things that are mixed around in this one. Not too much, but a little bit. For one, I would be using my magic clip right now to do this, but this is going to be a taper. He did say he wanted a mid taper, but you'll see in a second, I point to, where he wants it. and it was more of a low taper. So we're going with the low taper on this one. And what I like to do on most low tapers, or most tapers in general, you know, dependent on what the client wants, is I'll go all the way around the head, sometimes as low as a 3. Right here, I think we're starting with either a 4 or a 6, and we are just, you know, going around the shape. With this, you know, generally this is what I do with every haircut. It's either a 4 or a 6, dependent on, you know, how much weight they want on the sides. Usually it's gonna be a 4 for most people, just to keep that shape right. And I'll just go up with it, you know, to keep the shape around the parietal ridge area. Something that I picked up from Sean Cuts Hair, and I forget who else does it. I think Bossio might do it this way as well. But that's basically what I'm doing right now. Not going above that parietal ridge, or not going into that parietal ridge area, and not going above or into, you know, the occipital bone, or above that, you know. So as you can see, that's exactly what we're doing. Usually I would be using my magic clip right now, but like I said, I think I had it charging. So we're gonna go around the head like so. And this is what I do. This is my process, whether I'm doing a, you know, a taper fade, as you see right here. And like I said, depending on how much weight they want. If they want it a clean taper fade, then this is generally what I do. And for the taper, we'll go all the way down to the 2, as you'll see. Right here, I noticed that, you know, there was a good amount more hair. And I realized I didn't get the sides with the 10 all the way. So we're going back in with that 10 and just making sure everything is all even. And one thing you guys have to remember is your boy is still a beginner. So I still will make, you know, my fair amount of mistakes. I am still learning a lot.
I'm excited for your lineup, bro.
Let's get it straight.
I'm gonna get it all crooked. That's the new look.
Ah,
Everybody wants crooked lineup nowadays.
hell no.
Yeah, bro. You ain't seen the kids yet? Rocking the crooked lineup?
No, we ain't.
Yeah, bro. They ain't doing that at your school? Yeah, I ain't got no style, bro. It's the new wave.
Just knock the method.
Yeah, bro. Crooked ass lineup. So you said mid taper, huh?
Yeah,
Mid or low?
mid.
So you want it to be like around this area?
Yeah, a little bit higher, yeah.
A little
No,
bit
that's
higher?
fine. No, that's fine.
Okay.
I meant like I wanted it higher than like.
Okay.
All right, so you see we got it all even, and now I got the magic clip, and now I think we're going with the 3. So I start with the 4 closed or the 6, depending on how much weight they want. And it's always closed, and then I go to the 3 closed, and then you'll see I'll go to the 2 closed. But as I was saying before, if you've been following the journey so far, generally I would have Jerry come in towards the end, or even at some points throughout the haircut, to help me, you know, with the cuts. We haven't been doing that for quite some time now, at least a few months. We did do that for the first couple of months, but now I'm at the point where, you know, generally I don't need that help unless it's a very extremely difficult haircut, which is very rare. I usually just power through it myself. Right now, you know, what I'm more, you know, focused on and trying to get better at and improve on is my time. You know, a lot of these cuts I'm taking at least an hour. That's generally the amount of time that I'll take. Sometimes when I'm really on it, I'll get it done in that 40-45 minute range, 50-minute range. But most of the time I'll be taking about an hour, sometimes an hour and a half. Sometimes I've taken about 2 hours on some cuts, you know, and that's just because, you know, I could have got them out sooner, but sometimes I'm just too much of a quote unquote perfectionist. That's what I'm working on right now. So anyways, let's get back to the process. That actually was my 2. So basically what I did was I went in with the 4, went in with the 3, and those are both closed, then go with the 2 open, and we just set the base. The reason I do that is because I could fade into the 2 and it gives me a clean canvas to work with. So right now we're just balding it out. Usually I would use my low pros. So as I said before, I did mix some things around in this one for whatever reason. I don't know. Sometimes I'm just not thinking too clearly. I'm not all the way on it. And it happened to be the day that I pulled out the camera. So yeah, usually I would set this in with my low pros because the low pros are not as zero gapped, but I did it with the magic clips. And now, as you can see, we are going in with the trimmer. And excuse me, your boy is sick, so you know you gotta work with me today, but we gotta get it in regardless. But so generally what I'll do is I'll set that bald line in with the low pro, and usually I'll set it in all the way around the head. For tapers, generally I'll do the sides and then I'll do the back at the end. And when I have the trimmer in hand, or whatever tool it is, I like to do as much as I can with that tool while I have it. So as you can see, we have the trimmer, and I'm gonna just continue balding out, you know, the sides, clean up behind the ear, shape the arches, and do basically everything I can do with it while I have it in hand to, you know, be as efficient as possible. But if y'all are interested in anything that I use on the channel, everything is linked down below in the description. If you want to follow the journey, you know, go ahead and follow the socials. You'll see more behind the scenes stuff that you don't see here on YouTube over there on my IG and everything else. I do have other channels as well. I do other things aside from barbering. But one main thing, man, if y'all want to follow the journey, we are going to be getting to that 6-figure barber mark in a short period of time. Not short period of time, but this time next year, your boy will be there. So, man, follow along the journey. I feel like, you know, as long as you follow the right path and you have that discipline and, you know, everything that you need, the right mentor, and, you know, everything aligns for you, I feel like you could do it in a decent amount of time. And your boy is starting from nothing. I'm talking about no clients, no experience, and we just getting it. So we're 5 months in now, and we're gonna get there soon. But as you can see, we just got done with the arch area on that side and all around the ear. We're moving on to the other side, and basically, like I said, man, we did the 4 closed, we did the 3 closed, we did the 2 open. Now we're going in with the trimmers to, or actually we went and we set in our bald line, then we took the trimmers, completely balded it out, went up to that bald line, and then we are completing everything else that we need to do with the trimmer before we move on to the next step. And right here, usually now I'll just go ahead and save the back towards the very end. As you can see, initially I was gonna punch that line in, which I don't do anymore. I must have just been off my game this day because I was all over the place, it seems like. But you see, I corrected myself and I flipped the trimmer around. But we got everything that we needed to do with the trimmer done, and now we're going in with the low pros, and we are setting in that first open section. And basically, you know, when it comes to tapers, it's basically always the same. It just depends whether, you know, it's a low taper, mid taper, high taper. The only thing that changes is where we set in that bald line. I always go about, you know, what everybody says, that finger's length, whether that be a 1/2 inch, a 1/4 inch, you know, whatever your finger, everybody's finger is different. So that it kind of like gets confusing when people do say the finger's length, because everybody's finger is a little different, I would assume. But to me, you know, it's about a 1/2 inch. That's generally what I go with. Each guideline, I generally do about a 1/2 inch. With the one guard, sometimes maybe being a little more than that, but we'll go in, we'll set that first initial open section in, and as you'll see, man, I decided to keep this in real time just so, you know, you guys could get more out of it and kind of see where I'm at with everything and how I do stuff. But you'll see where I need to improve at. Sometimes I tend to take too much time trying to perfect everything instead of, you know, just trusting the process, going through the motion, setting those guidelines in, the length that they need to be. I keep wanting to say how wide they need to be, but it's not really how wide because it's length. But yeah, so we did that. This side took way shorter than the other side for some reason, but now we are grabbing the shaver and we are balding everything out. Actually, I think that's what's going on here, is I forgot to do that, because generally I would do that right after I, bald it out with the trimmer. But as I said before, your boy was a little off this day. I don't really know what it was, but I'm sure y'all could relate that some days just be like that. And excuse me getting in front of the camera at times in the video. I'm still, ironing out everything with where I want the camera to be and where I need to be. Because when you're still learning and you're trying to record stuff and make sure that you're in a right angle, for the audience to be able to see, but also you're in the right angle for you to be able to do what you need to do. Because a lot of times those things don't align. Either the audience is going to be able to see and you have to compromise your angle to be able to, be comfortable cutting, or vice versa, So I was just trying to get it right in this one, but we're going back in on this side. I guess just retouching this up. And as you can see, man, it's taking me way too long to do these open sections. Like, I should have been done with these open sections. I should have almost been done with damn taper fade on the sides at this point. But, like I said, man, we are still in those learning stages. I've only been doing this for about 5 months, and that's since my very first cut. And as you can see, we weren't able to get the initial bottom line out with the low pros. So what I'm doing here is I'm taking out the initial guidelines on that open section. Basically what I do is I go in closed for the bottom line, halfway open for the halfway mark of it, and then fully open just to make sure everything is clean up top. Pretty basic, what most people do. But generally, I don't know why I'm using my low pros here. Generally, I would be using my magic clip. My magic clip must have been dead, or I don't know what was going on with it. My process is setting in the bald line with the low pros because they are not as zero gapped, and then coming in with the trimmers, making sure everything's bald, then coming in with the shaver, then setting in the open section with the low pros because they're not as zero gapped. Then I would take the magic clip and come in with that to remove that initial open section. For some reason, in this video, on this day, I went away from that, and we are using the low pros, it seems, for everything, because now we had the one guard on and we're setting in that section with the one, and we're doing it on both sides. Again, it's going to be another 1/2 inch. I believe we have the half guard on. With the half guard, that's where I switch it up a little bit. I'll start with the open, and then I'll close it up a little bit, go halfways. And then if I need to, I'll close it all the way. And sometimes I'll play with the lever, maybe 1/4 of the way, or whatever the case may be. One thing I've really been working on recently, since I seen a Faded Culture video, and in that video, Sergio, he was explaining to a newer barber how to cut hair and his process, how he does it. And one thing I really liked that he was telling the newer barber was not to flick too much, not to overdo it on the flicking, because that's something that for sure I definitely tend to do, is over flick. And I feel like that's probably a common theme with newer barbers, just because that's something you always hear, is like you have to flick. And I feel like for me, I thought that's how you blend it in, is like by how much you flick. But the way Sergio explained it in that video is like, that's not the case always. Sometimes you'll mess yourself up by flicking too much, especially with those lower, when you don't have a guard on and in those lower guards. So what he said is just to keep the arm a little more stiff, and just like, barely go up into where you need to go to blend that line out. So he explained it a lot better than I did. Ever since I seen that video, that's what I've been doing, and it has helped me a good amount. So shout out to Faded Culture. As you can see, we're actually repping Faded Culture with the hat on. But yeah, man, that's one thing I have been doing. Otherwise, you probably would have seen me flicking a lot more and slowing it down. you know, because I tend to like try to go way too fast. All right, so going back to the other side, we just completed both sides with the half guard. Now we're going in with the 1.5, since we already put in that 2 guard and we were fading into that. So basically with the open section, no guard, you know, I fade up on that, closed, half, fully open, and then I put in that open 1 section. With that one, I actually fade down. I start with the half guard open, close it halfway, and then if I need to, I'll close it fully. So now with the 1.5, since we already put in that 2 open, we're just fading out that line that we put in with the open 1. Right there, I'm just asking him if that's about where he wants it.
Higher than that?
Sounds good.
Good like that?
And he did confirm that that is where he wanted it. And now we're just going on to the other side. And in my journey so far of learning how to cut hair, it's been a process of me getting better. It seems like me getting better since I found the process that works for me. Initially, I was having trouble getting out the bald line. Then once I got that down, I was having trouble with the half guard. Then once I got that down, you know, I'm having trouble with the 1.5, and it just seems like it's going up and up. So right now I'm kind of, you know, ironing out how to effectively and efficiently get out that guideline that I put in with the 1 guard. And that whole area, you know, has been an area that more of the focus is going into in improving, and more so on certain haircuts than others. I do struggle with it for one reason or another, but it is something that we're improving on. And as you can see here, generally we're just using a lot of the corner of the blades when it comes to the 1.5 guard. Usually I'll start with it about either halfway open or a quarter of the ways open, because I noticed that fully open, it never really does anything. And then if we can't get everything that we need to get out with that 1.5 guard, then I'll slap back on that 1 open, and we'll go down from there as we need to. And again, I don't know why we were using the low pros the whole time in this video. Like I said before, usually we would be using that magic clip, but I can't even remember why, you know, I was using the low pros. But as y'all can see, the taper on the sides is just about finished. It looks like I'm slapping back on either the 2 or the 3 guard. That's probably the 3 if I'm going behind the ear like that. And I'm just cleaning up the rest of that section, and we'll go ahead and do the same thing on the other side. But not looking too bad on the sides of the taper. So now we'll go ahead and get started on the back. So we will just set in the open section. And one thing that I do need to get better at when it comes to the back of the taper, I feel like I need to stretch it out more than I do. What I'm doing right here, y'all could tell me down below in the comments if it's something that you experience as well. When they're not sitting all the way straight, you know, they don't have their lower back all the way up against the chair, it gets very difficult to do the back of the head, you know, because the bottom of the clipper hits the top of their back. So it's something that I've been working on. Like, how do I tell that to people? Before I would say, hey, can you put your butt against the back of the chair, until I realized, like, just say lower back, you know. So now I tell them, like, hey, can you sit all the way up forward? Because that wasn't working when I would just tell them that, like, can you sit up straight? They would just like kind of sit up straight. They wouldn't push themselves back to the back of the seat. So now I just let them know, hey, can you push your lower back all the way to the back of the seat, you know. And a lot of the times that'll work. As you can see, we put in that initial open section. Now we're just going in with the trimmers and cleaning it up a little. So I believe we fully got that open section in, but now we are going and we're going to be taking that out. Starting closed, opening it up halfway, and then once we, you know, get it fully out halfway, we'll open it up all the way and just make sure everything is where it needs to be. But now that we got all that out, we're slapping on that 1 guard and we are setting in that 1 open section.
Is your butt sit like with your butt all the way to the back of the seat? Yeah, and then like straight up. There we go. Because the bottom of this like hits your back, and then I can't like properly get this.
So that's exactly what I was talking about. It's funny because I was still saying your butt in this one instead of your lower back. Pretty much what we were just talking about a little while ago, I kind of explained to him, and it makes a difference. For whatever reason, it makes a big difference. But it's not just kids, man. A lot of times it is kids, but sometimes grown adults, you know, they just tend to slouch in the chair, and it makes it a lot more difficult for the back of the head. So remember that next time you're getting a cut, if you haven't experienced it as a barber and you don't know it already, remember that when you're getting a haircut, when you slouch, it makes it a lot more difficult for your barber to get the back of the head, especially the lower parts. So as I said, we put that one guard on, and we put in that one open section, and now I believe we do have the half guard on, and we are blending down, starting with it open, closing it up halfway, and then if we need to, we'll close it up fully, and we will get out the bottom of that line, which I believe we are doing right now. Generally in the back, you will need to, or from my experience, I do close it up all the way with the half guard, and even the 1.5, you know, the 1.5, even on the sides, you have to close it up all the way a lot of the times, but especially in the back, you'll have to jump back to that one guard, you know, and even close it up halfway, just because the hair is a lot more dense. There's a lot more hair. It's a lot thicker in the back of the head. If you notice, when people bald, it's usually on the sides of the head or the top, never really in the back. So there's just a lot more hair back there for whatever reason. Barbers say it all the time in their videos. You got to pay a lot more attention to detail in the back just because of that reason, right? So it looks like we did what we needed to do with the half guard. Now we got that 1.5 on, and we're going to be blending into the rest. So I think what we did here is we put the 2 guard on, because I don't know if I did that in the back. I don't know if I did the 2 in the back, or maybe I decided to go a little higher with it. So now that we got that looking how we wanted it to, I believe we have the 3 guard on now, and we are just taking it up a little bit higher, cleaning up the rest of that back taper. Didn't take too long with that, so now we're switching back to the 1.5, and I can always tell when it's a 1.5 because of the 1.5 guard. It has a distinct look to it for whatever reason, but going back in with that 1.5 and using more of the whole blade in the back as opposed to how we use the corners on the sides. But sometimes I will, you know, sometimes you do have to use the corners with that 1.5 even in the back. As you can see here, I think I'm using more of the corners now as we close it. But now we're taking that off, and we're gonna do a little clipper over comb. Something that I have been using a lot more now. Doing this technique is something that I really had to get used to. I didn't know how to do it at first when Jerry tried to show me how to do it. I just didn't get that you had to be flat up against the comb in order to get that hair. I would always try to go in with the teeth, and I'd never cut anything. But also I would just be too scared to go in like that, thinking that I'm gonna leave a hole, you know, in the head or in the hair. You just have to be very careful. And Jerry actually advises me to use a guard when doing this, but I just took it upon myself to kind of go in without the guard. But I'm extremely careful, you know, so it probably would be the safer thing to do, to go in with the guard and do this. But you know, your boy, I guess I'm just a risk taker. But yeah, we're going in with the clipper over comb technique in the back and on the sides, and it's something that I've been working a lot at and actually been improving at as well. So just taking off the rest of that bulk in any areas that I see it. And as you can see, I'm taking my time. I'm going very slow. I'm not trying to rush this process because this is a more advanced technique, especially without a guard on that clipper. So I'm just making sure that, you know, I don't take off too much and I'm in the right spots, the right areas. And for me, I'd rather, you know, take a little more time with it, take my time, than mess up and either, you know, do something that's not repairable or do something to where I'm gonna have to be there a lot longer if I do try to rush it and mess up. So now we're going back in and just detailing. The right side of his head is a lot harder than the left side, and that's something that I could relate to because I have the same, you know, the same, I don't want to say issue, but the same growth pattern, I would say. On the right side of my head, the right side of my hair, it grows back, like super back, and he has the same thing. So it makes it a lot more difficult when the hair is growing back like that, at least for me. So we got the detail work out of the way. Now we're gonna go back in with the trimmers and get the arch area and anything else that we need to do, and then we will move into the lineup. And that's where it gets a little tricky. So for me, I don't like to dig into the lineup at all. You know, in the arch area, I noticed like I've seen a lot of barbers, good barbers even, dig into that much more than I feel it needs to be. Sometimes you do need to, you know, push that back a little bit, but for people like my guy right here, I mean, naturally he has a decent looking arch area already, so you don't need to do too much. I don't like to get too cosmetic with things. A lot of the times I feel like it looks better the more natural you leave it. So we got that out of the way. Now we're moving on to the hairline, the lineup, and as you can see, on that left side, our left, his right, he has a pretty bad cowlick. We're gonna do a little bit of clipper over comb in the front here. And this is something I believe I seen on the Regal Gentleman channel, if I'm not mistaken. He doesn't really do too many lineups, but I seen him do this just to like strengthen the lineup, as he said. So instead of grabbing like the 2 guard or the 1.5, just decided on this one I was gonna do a little clipper over comb on the front there. So you'll see we're just starting off in the middle, and we're gonna be going to each side, keeping it as straight as possible. Obviously we do have to get a little cosmetic because of that cowlick, and I'm just trying to pull up the hair there just to see where the actual hairline is. And we do have a little bit of room, but I don't want to push it up too high. So we're just going to the side where the cowlick is to see where that needs to be first, obviously because that's a little further back in. So once we get that to where we need to get it, that will let me know and show me what I need to do with the opposing side. And these are just little things that I've picked up from watching videos, from watching Jerry. We went ahead and did what we had to do on that side, and now we are moving on to the opposite side. And I'm just trying to figure out where I need to be so y'all could see, and so I could see what I need to do, because we're doing the hairline here, man. You know, I don't want to push him back or give him a crooked hairline. I know we were messing around about, you know, giving him a crooked hairline, but we don't want to leave my boy walking out of here with no crooked hairline. So another thing that I've heard in videos as well is, you know, getting that vertical bar to where it needs to be, to make it easier for you to know where you got to take the front of the hairline. Obviously doing your own stuff and doing other people's is a lot different. So doing the hairline, obviously I am still improving. I did, you know, it was a little bit easier for me going in just because I had been doing my own hairline and I've watched a lot of hairline videos. But this one was probably one of the harder ones that I've had to do so far, for sure. So right here, I decided to grab a little hairspray, another thing that I've obviously seen in videos, and this was the first time I actually tried this.
See how it goes up? I have one right in the middle.
Yeah.
It's right here, look. See how these hairs are curling? It's right there. So these hairs curl, so it goes out like this.
Oh no, I see it now.
Yeah.
So as you can see right there, kind of explained to him what was going on. And now we are going back in, now that the hair is laying down as much as it's possibly going to. And eventually I did, you know, realize like this isn't gonna be a hairline we're gonna be able to get as straight, you know, without getting like super cosmetic. I didn't want to push that right side, our right side, back way too much, because the other side is gonna be, it's not always gonna be the same, you know, especially with the cowlick. You could get it in one place, you know, right now, and in a couple hours, even like less than that, but definitely the next day it's not gonna be in the same place. And I know from experience from having a cowlick on my hairline, you know, so eventually I will realize that, and you know, I'll stop trying to get it extremely straight, and I'll just say like, you know, maybe more of a messy, more natural looking hairline is the way to go. I'll do some point cutting, you know, into the hairline. But me being, you know, the quote unquote perfectionist that I am, initially I want to try to get it as straight as I possibly can. I was trying different angles, you know, I was doing everything I could on this one. Kept combing it down over and over. And that's something that, you know, with the cowlick and with these type of hairlines, you got to keep combing it, because each time you comb it, it's going to be in a different place. And each time you cut it, it's going to be in a different place. And we did have more room to work with underneath those bangs there, but I didn't want to cut too far into that.
That's about as good as we're gonna get it. What do you think?
All right, so now that we're done with the hairline, we're just wetting it up a little bit, and I'm just gonna cut a little more texture into the hair. Just doing some techniques that I've picked up from watching videos and watching Jerry and everything else. But I don't even know what to call this. I guess slide cutting. I don't even know what to call this with the scissors, but y'all know what it is.
Yeah, I know what this is. Only thing that keeps me up.
Why that? Yeah, I know what it is. When I said that, it reminded me of that song.
Which one's that one?
The clay?
You like that one?
Yeah, it's good. I'm gonna put a little clay. Just do this. Create a little texture. Some waves.
So now that we pretty much got everything that we needed to do with the hair, got it to where we need it, I realized I didn't do the razor. And like I said, man, we were all over the place. We were all over the place in this one. Usually I would do this before I styled the hair, but we're going in with the razor now. Sometimes I do lay them back. Sometimes I just do it, put them sitting up straight. It just really depends.
What do you think?
I like it.
Yeah? Show you the back. Can you see it?
Mm-hmm. Looks good.
As y'all can see though, this is how it came out. Definitely think I could have done better on the back. But yeah, man, let me know what y'all think of the cut down below in the comments. And let me know what y'all want to see next, man. We got a ton of content, so subscribe to the channel if you enjoy, and I'm gonna see y'all on the next one.
Oh, now you got my haircut, bro. Close your eyes. Fresh? All right, brother. Here we go. You look good, dude.
Thank you.
All right.
Take care.
See you later, bro.
See you later.
Have a good day at school tomorrow.